Language is so much interwoven with culture, with thought and knowledge, that the ability to use one's own language on the digital media, in the digital world, the ability to process, to understand, and to produce human language is intertwined with the concept of democracy in the digital society. So without language technology, one cannot really be certain of a democratic digital society, a democratic information society in the future.
Yeah. Language diversity is a richness of Europe, but if you look at democratic processes, when usually debates on hot political topics are encapsulated in national borders, and it's very difficult for people to discuss problems in Greece, for example, or to get first-hand information what really happens in Greece, or for others to know what people think in Latvia when we are switching to Euro next year. If you don't speak Latvian or you don't speak Greek, it's you cannot access this debate, to not participate in this discussion, and yeah, it limits democratic opportunities in Europe, and language technologies can play a crucial role in this. By applying machine translation, you can break those language barriers and enable people to access discussions and participate in these democratic processes across Europe.
Language is key to e-participation in general.
Let me give you some examples. In Latvia, we are very proud about our heritage, about folk songs. This is part of the World Heritage Register and recognized as a UNESCO treasure. At the same time, it's in Latvian, so only Latvians can read and enjoy this richness. And we help at application of language technologies like machine translation, or including with folk songs and folk tales in search systems, global search systems, will open this richness to everybody on the globe.
Well, for Greek, as this was spoken in ancient Greece, most of the ancient Greek writings in the form of tragedies or comedies in Euripides or Aristophanes and Sophocles, all these works are now digitized. They have been annotated. They have been annotated by Greek scholars, but they have also been annotated by other scholars around the globe. The main issue is how you can use really sophisticated language technology tools for further analyzing, connecting comments with one another, etc. Now, the issue is what happens with the language that is now spoken in Greece, the so-called modern Greek, the language that we speak for the last 4 or 5 centuries. There, I dare say that there is some rudimentary support by language technology in the form of support in writing. I mean, all the authoring tools that we have for the other languages now exist also for Greek, and at a rather mature level. Going to more sophisticated applications, translation, extraction of information from unstructured text, there are some good results already, but we all feel that there is ample room for improvement, and we strongly believe that the work that we have been doing the last 3-4 years, also in the framework of MetaNet, has laid the ground so that we are ready not only for the improvements but also for connecting our language, if you want, in the form of cross-lingual connections to the rest of the European languages.
And in Latvia, there are massive activities on digitizing archives and cultural heritage information and books. And it's not a surprise that Ministry of Culture is one of the most interested government institution in language technologies, because when we have such a vast amount of different information, you need you cannot find what you need without using some tools. You need annotations, you need semantic analysis tools, you need translation tools, and all those tools can open the richness of this information and also are keys to access the knowledge what is embedded in these digital collections. Our company is focusing on technologies that can break these language barriers, like machine translation, for many years, and it used to be very difficult to convince people how these technologies can really help, because these were simply not good enough, and also people said, oh, this translation by machine is by far not at the same quality as humans can do. How can I use it? Now, with Google Translate, situation is different. Many people have tried Google and are using it every second day, and now they see how language technologies like machine translation can help them. But now they have different expectations. It's not anymore the question what you can do, but how can you get better quality out of machine translation. And these services provided by Google or Microsoft for smaller languages like Latvian, Lithuanian, Estonian are not on the pair with larger languages, and in many cases its translation is unreadable and you cannot grasp the meaning of text from it. And by putting the language-specific knowledge and using results from European research projects like Let's MT, we are able to provide much better quality than offered by Google or other global services, and it's highly valued by our users. We have thousands of users of our machine translation services in Baltic countries.
Usability and adoption, I would say. If we fly from Latvia to Greece, the situation, for instance, in machine translation is maybe slightly different, only slightly different. When you go from English content to Greek content, then the translation is rather still hardly usable, at least for production purposes. It can be used for assimilation purposes. When you go in the other direction, from English content to, from Greek content into English, things improve more or less dramatically. Now this creates yet more pressure on people developing language technology, pressure coming from the public that is asking for better results when you go from English or from any other of the big languages into Greek. But in general, concerning the changes that we've seen in the last 5, maybe even more, 8 to 10 years, is that now we've come to grips with the real complexity of language, and now we have more or less realized that scientific and methodological dogmas will not lead us quite far. So we have started investigating all those good results that one can can get out of merging technologies, merging paradigms and methodologies. Yeah, I expect, judging from where both research but also the commercial offerings stand today in Greece, I expect quite substantial improvement in all those applications that have to do with the greater area of information extraction from Greek content, the mingling of results coming out of information extraction from content with already standing structured data, I mean data that you can source from structured databases. Notable results there could be the areas of sentiment analysis, opinion mining, as these are applied in the greater area of media monitoring, etc. There is quite some booming, let's say, market, but also offerings in the area of media monitoring in Greece. Concerning translation, I expect that we will have much better results when we generate by machine the Greek translation of English, mainly English so far, input text. And I'm a bit uncertain to what extent we will be able to have let's say, smartphone-based assistants like Siri or any other type of assistant being able to speak proper Greek, speak and interact in proper Greek by the year 2020.
I think one industry what will see a big impact from language technologies is translation industry. And the translation industry now heavily depends on human work, on human translators, but it's more and more switching towards human facilitated but technology dependent industry. The technology, machine translation and the terminology tools and content management tools play the major role in translation process, and humans, role of humans is to do a final fine-tuning or selection or a really creative part in the translation process. So, and I think that if this translation landscape will change dramatically in the next few years, and those companies will be able to use and embrace the latest technological advancements will thrive and will provide new kind of services for real-time translation or media translation or machine-assisted interpretation that really will help to break the language barriers. We can overestimate and underestimate the role of language technologies. Some people say already problem is solved, we have so good services available, so why should we invest in public research for this? But at the same time we see that for many languages, including my native Latvian languages, there are still so big problems to get on par with other languages, and we need to look for new methods, new approaches, new paradigms in solving these problems. That requires involvement of the best brains and best researchers, and for finding breakthrough language technologies. We are currently scratching just a surface of what's possible and what's needed.
Yeah, which means, I mean, exactly what you said. Somehow validates, if you want, the investment in language technologies, both by private companies but also by the public, in the sense that people, when they start using what is available for the so-called less spoken languages, or what we call under-resourced languages, then they really realize that there is a huge difference in performance in what they get in their own language compared to what their fellow citizens speaking other languages, bigger languages, get. So, yeah, I guess that the investment is fully grounded by what we see today, and it is well grounded also in the society and the users.